Welcome into Philthy, a Philadelphia Eagles podcast presented by I Said What I Said. I'm Brad Wakai. That's Tyson Gentry. We're reacting to the Eagles beating the Chiefs in the Super Bowl rematch. Oh, man, Tyson, a lot to unpack out of this one. I mean, this game is everything that a Philadelphia Eagles fan wants because you win the game, yet you can be super pissed and call in the WIP, call in the local radio, listen to all your stuff, consume all your media, and be like, no, I'm still mad. So we got a lot for you Eagles fans that we're going to pack today.
This team provides like no other because not only do they win games, but they win games in the same way. And then when we all say like they can't keep doing this because we have 2023 in the back of our minds, they're looking at it like we just won the Super Bowl, but essentially playing this way. Like it was prettier at times, but we're in the first 2 weeks here, folks. And I don't know if we're going to get a chance to say it later on, but right before we hopped on, I was telling you Nick Sirianni, third in NFL history post Super Bowl or in the Super Bowl era. In career win percentage, it's 70%, fifth in the history of the NFL if you count, before the Super Bowl era. Jalen Hurts is 39-9 in the games that he started and finished. This is, we're gonna complain about some of the stuff later on, but like this is the golden era of this franchise. It's never been this good, and it might never be better. They're winning 75% of the games that they play.
Yeah, so enjoy it. So as we're going through this, and we're going to be critical.
Or since 2022 for Hurts.
I mean, it's been an insane run here, and the Eagles continue to win football games, and that's what this is all about. And so Tyson and I will dissect some stuff that we're going to talk about in our overreaction or right reaction segment. We're going to give into some main takeaways. We come out of this one, and we look ahead to week 3, and then some key news. Not a ton coming out of this, but we still want to touch on some things. So let's get right into it. Overreaction or right reaction. Again, Tyson will tell it, hey, this is the kind of the storyline, this is the headline coming at us. Is that the right reaction or is that an overreaction? And let's start with this one. The main takeaway, offense is atrocious. Tyson, is that the right reaction or is that an overreaction?
Atrocious might be a little strong, but I think it's been bad. Like this was not an encouraging week 2 here after week 1. Like, again, because that game took so long and there were so many other things, it's easier to say, the offense didn't look good, but the first half they were awesome. Like they won a shootout in the first half to start the season. Jalen was awesome. Yeah, it was a lot of weird stuff in the passing game, and then in the second half it was like, okay, how much of that is the weather? What exactly is going on? But that might just be what it is right now, and that's not good enough. I mean, the average depth of target on some of these things is like, where's he supposed to go with the ball? Like you give AJ Brown a chance to beat Trent McDuffie, and then he's like did it. And then you don't take any shots down the field. Like they're telling you, we're going to play this guy this way. AJ Brown, I said it on our other show, but 4 yards outside of the numbers, 5-yard in breaking route over and over and over and over again. And that's not good enough. Devontae Smith gets to the over 50 receiving number. But like, are you encouraged that he caught the prayer at the end of the game? Or is that just like wow, Smitty's really good. And we got a little lucky there. There's got to be better. Saquon on that touchdown run probably could have gone 99, and I think that's something to be encouraged about. But this is not the offense we thought we were getting after the summer. That all we heard was like the Eagles are going to throw the football more with Kevin Patullo, and if it's going to be more, but like this, I don't love it.
So last week when we did this, Tyson was ready to eviscerate me because he thought I was going to say this offense sucks. Now he's on the other side because I think this is an overreaction here. Tyson's more concerned than I am. I'm looking at this from how the Eagles approached last year, and maybe I'm just being too fat and happy because the Eagles won the Super Bowl, Tyson. So it doesn't really matter right now because they're Super Bowl champs, and they're a really good football team, and they're probably going to make the playoffs. They're probably going to win the division. Now, I don't want to put a jinx on them. I'm knocking on wood. But let's look at this from this perspective. Kevin Patullo is a first-time play caller. Kevin Patullo is figuring out how to call plays at the NFL level. When he's the guy who have to say, this is what we're running. That translates into Jalen Hurts hearing Kevin Patullo calling plays for the first time, right? So it's all new stuff. Then Jalen Hurts is going to go to the line. He's going to check. And we combine that with the fact that you're facing a Kansas City Chiefs team. Steve Spagnuolo was like, well, what I just did the last time I faced these guys in the Super Bowl did not work at all. So you have the preparation coming in. Like you can prepare for how Spagnuolo's played you in the past. He just threw stuff at the wall and like a completely different game plan. So, and Brady was talking about that on the broadcast. Like,
But you invited some of that though, with the insistence on 12 personnel, and like Kylan Granson and these guys are going to be on the field. Latu's going to be playing. Like it was, yeah, you can blitz from wherever you want because we're going to show you what we're doing. And that's where the concern is. Like, this can't be a 12 personnel football team when Dallas Goedert is out. Like, that's just full stop. I think that's, I'm not an NFL coordinator. I don't claim to be, but I don't think that should be offensive to anybody's sensibilities. Like, you have these guys, Jahan Dotson gets a little swing route, and that's it. And that's all, for the wideout three that you're hoping to work in more when your star tight end is out, because if Dallas Goedert misses an extended period of time, which Dallas Goedert tends to do during these seasons, and this is what we're going to get, that's not a sustainable thing where this team can win 6 games in a row that way.
Well, I want to make it clear, too. I don't think this is a good offense by any means, but I'm not worried about it because I think there's another level that they can reach.
You tricked me by putting atrocious on the bottom. So that's where I stepped it down to bad, and you're saying it's not good. But so we need a new word.
Well, everybody's saying this is the worst offense I've ever seen, and it sucks, and the Eagles are awful at offense. That's the reaction that people are having out of 2 weeks and out of this game. So, is that so? Maybe it's bad. Yes, it's a bad offense. But I think it's going to improve, right? Like, nobody's sitting here and saying 101 yards from your quarterback is good, especially when you're not stretching the field, right? Or especially when stuff's getting taken away and you don't have a counter for it. Like, I'm not going to say it here and say, oh, I enjoyed watching that on the offensive end. But I think to say, it's not going to get better, and this offense itself sucks, and Patullo's atrocious, and this is what we're going to get for the rest of the season, I think that's an overreaction. Coming out of this game, it certainly was that. And coming out of the last 4 quarters that we've seen put together, I understand why people can feel that way. I'm sitting here and saying, yeah, this looks bad right now, but I don't think that's what we're going to get for 17 games. Like, again, guys, it's freaking September. Like, it hasn't gotten cold out. Tyson's playing golf still. And we know that's not the fall. Last year, through 4 weeks, how many people said that the season was over before we even got to October? They didn't freaking lose again coming out of the bye week.
Yeah.
I don't even know, Eagles fans are hilarious because they remember everything, yet they don't. How do you not remember what we had last year? It's okay to be fine in the first part of the season and then peak when you're at your best. We are just coming off a stretch in the playoffs, Tyson, where this offense looked like it was one of the best units we've ever seen. And yes, you lose Kellen Moore and all that. But I'm not sitting here right now for 2 games and be like, I'm raising the sirens and I'm concerned.
By EPA per play, that would have been the worst game that they played all of last year as well. And I think that's where it's like, this is an unfamiliar feeling. And it's not a Brian Johnson offense, but the similarities are there. And we heard a bunch, this is going to be Jalen Hurts' offense. And we heard that a bunch in 2023 as well. And so I think that's something to monitor going forward. How much of this is game plan? Because you think Jalen Hurts is hey, on 3rd and 9, we should run draws. That's an offensive coordinator play caller thing.
Yeah, that was interesting. I mean, it's hard not to though when you have Barkley. It's God, this guy can gas.
Oh, I get that, but when you have AJ Brown too, get him open.
I still think he's a little banged up, Tyson. I know you're not believing that, but
I'm believing AJ. That's all.
Yeah, but a lot of players say a lot of stuff. They're not going to say, yeah, my hamstring's actually hurt. So if they get tackles, I
tore it off the bone in week 2.
Yeah. He just doesn't look as explosive to me. Now, again, that's me being, couch doctor, all that crap. But I don't know. I think there's a lot of improvement clearly because this won't look this way. So I think it's an overreaction to say that, this offense is atrocious and it's not going to get any better. Now, it hasn't looked good. I think we can all agree on that. Next thing, overreaction or right reaction that Howie Roseman hit on the rookie class again with Jahad Campbell and Andrew Makuba.
This is the right reaction, I think. I think Drew Makuba is the truth. I've been really excited to see him on the field. I was telling you all summer, looking for these training camp posts and all this stuff, and he just gets hurt and we don't get the buzz. But he is all around the football, dude. His first 2 weeks in the NFL, he answered the question for us pretty quickly on who was going to start at safety opposite of Reed Blankenship, and he seems to have taken that thing competition over. That seems to be where we're at with this. You can't get chased down by an offensive lineman on a 99-yard pick six. Maybe that'll get worked out. By the way, what effort? What speed? That was play of the week maybe. But yeah, these two guys are leading the team in tackles. Jahad Campbell, another guy where it's like, is he even going to be able to play towards labrum? Oh, he's shooting up for camp. That's a good. Oh, he's hitting. Okay, let's see what we got here. You start worrying maybe a little bit about if you're a hardcore Nakobe Dean fan, like what's it going to look like for him? Because I think Jahad Campbell's is my job too, and so it's an embarrassment of riches maybe for Vic Fangio to figure out there at that linebacker position. But I think you have to be encouraged after losing Chauncey Gardner-Johnson and then replacing him. Drew McCoubra's been the star, for this bunch, kind of.
Yeah, no, I think to answer the question, this is the right reaction. Drew McCoubra looks fast.
He looks explosive. Dude. He's too little to play like he played at Texas. You can't do that in the NFL. Dude, he just comes downhill and hits you.
5 solo tackles, and 2 of them were in open space. 2 of them were short of the sticks. Reminded me of CJ Gardner-Johnson. And, I was a little bit peeved that they let GJ go. I think you need a guy like that in your locker room, and I think you need a guy like that on the field who's willing to step up and take on a running back in the hole. And Drew McCoubra did that on 2 separate occasions in this one. It looked awesome. I mean, flying around, he's wearing number 24. He looks small, like he does look small visually. He's like, man. But if he can stay healthy and he can provide this impact, I mean, he can cover, he can tackle, he can play in the box. I mean, he looks great. And then you let Reed Blankenship on the flip side do what he does best, and that's filling in gaps and over the top and things like that. So, yes, Drew McCoubra looks like a hit. And then Jahad Campbell, this guy, man,
he's a freak,
7 tackles. 5 of them solo. He's the second leading tackler in the game as a rookie,
like Tarzan,
stepping in.
Dude, he looks huge on the football field.
QB hit too, Tyson. Like he's just running. Like he doesn't have like a bag of pass rush moves, but he just puts his shoulder into the tackle and just bowls him. I'm like, dude, this guy is physical, man. So it looks really good from those 2 guys, and that's what you want. That when you're taking high and selecting high, you got to hit on those picks. For 2 years in a row with Eugene, who led the game in tackles with 8, or led the Eagles in tackles, I should say, with 8 in this one. And then with Quinion Mitchell, forget the Thornton bomb. That was a blown coverage. I think he only gave up 2 catches on 4 targets. Like he looks great too. So that's 2 years in a row that the top 2 picks from Howie Roseman has hit.
On the defensive side of the ball, and in order to sustain success, that's what you have to do. But you also have to hit on free agents. And I know that we're not, we didn't schedule this guy, but a little Z Smith shout out. I mean, he looked awesome for his first game, of the season, not having an offseason. He combines with Drew McCoubra on a half sack, and then he hits the Fletcher Cox celebration. Dude, how'd that make you feel?
Oh, good. I mean, I was going to let's get to that with main takeaways, because that was one of mine. I'm like, Zadarius Smith, dude, he's cut up. Like he is a rock, man. And he's fast. He looks explosive. Some guys, when you put on a jersey, it just looks right. Like he looks huge in an Eagles jersey. Like I don't like bigger than he looked in a Lions jersey.
I think he's just a massive human being.
He is, but like something about that white when it was hitting him, I don't know. Like, and the Lions were white too, but like I think it's with the green or something. I mean, it looked like his shoulders were massive. And then when he had that tackle and he did his celebration, I was like, "Whew, I don't know how you block this guy."
I think we have a show crush here on Smith and Campbell. It's 2 for us back to back. But no, that's the main takeaway for sure. That's a guy off the couch. I think he was like the 3rd highest PFF graded guy, which I don't care much about. But it is encouraging to see when you don't have – dude, he doesn't need to know the plays, but I'm sure it helps. And he just gets off the bus basically and provides that edge rusher that we needed. My biggest main takeaway here, and I started with it, but it's really like this is kind of just what they do. They're going to strangle you to death, and they're going to win the football game, and it's going to be ugly, and there's going to be stuff to complain about. And I think they like it that way. I'm not sure the receivers like it. I'm being serious. I don't think the receivers love it, but I don't think any of the offensive linemen would tell you they had a great game. But I think they like, we get to be physical, and the defense put it in our hands. We're going to do what we do. And I think Jalen Hurts is the one exception in professional sports when he says, like, I just care about winning the game. I think it's true. Like, there's been a lot of he's so corny and all this and that and all that other stuff. I think, like, that Chris Jones exchange at the end of the game, I think that's just, like, if you could distill it down, that's you don't have 100 yards. We won the game. That's what it is.
And I think that's the takeaway you have to have from this. I mean, from an overall perspective, is that yes, the offense didn't look great. And yes, the offense was frustrating. And, you're wondering why the quarterback's checking stuff down. You're wondering why A.J. Brown can't get open, or why DeMonte Smith's not greatly involved, or why Saquon's only averaging 4 yards a pop. They just went into Kansas City and beat the Chiefs at Arrowhead in a game that, yes, it reads 20-17. It was not that close once again, folks. Like, they were the better team on the evening. They have the better roster. They do stuff they just did something that not many people and teams can point to and say, we just accomplished that. And that's beating the Chiefs in Arrowhead. Like, again, like Tyson laid out how this era is the best in Eagles history. 3 years ago, if I would have said the Eagles went into Arrowhead and beat the Chiefs in a close one-score game, every single person in the fan base would have been ecstatic and would have been pumped and would have been like, yes, that's great, because the Eagles, they don't do that. And the Chiefs, they don't lose those games. And yet we're coming out of this, and people are pissed off. It's like, I understand, like, you want the offense to look great and you want them to score 50 points, and everybody should be striving for that. And that should be the aim of every single person on the Eagles, and the fan base should want that. But at the end of the day, the NFL, these guys get paid too. The Chiefs got embarrassed in the Super Bowl. You don't think this thing was circled, especially at home? You don't think Spagnuolo's like, I got an idea. We're not going to give up that many points. And for the Eagles still to not play their best football offensively and to hold Patrick Mahomes to a game where you take away the bomb to Tyquan Thornton, that was a blown coverage. He had 130, 120 yards, something like that, with no touchdowns and a pick. I mean, what are we doing here? This is incredible. The Eagles are 2-0. They haven't played their best, and they beat the Cowboys, and they beat the Chiefs. Like, what are we complaining about here?
And I think, you can walk into work, puff your chest a little bit. If anyone says this team looks like shit, and everyone's going to talk about, I can't believe Kansas City's lost 3 games in a row. 2 of them were to Philly. They never started 0-2. One of those was to Philly. Jalen Hurts doesn't lose to these guys. He's 3-2 against Pat Mahomes. The only they beat Burrow last year. Like, the whole AFC, the Big Four, all that stuff, the Philadelphia Eagles beat them every time they show up. So keep the rest of it. That's fine with me. They won the game.
And that is encouraging. If you hear Jalen Hurts, like, maybe he does want to throw for 300 yards or something, but he wants to win more. Mm-hmm. That's the most important thing. And when that's the mentality, I don't know, the guy named Tom Brady had, like, it's a good space to be in if you're an Eagles fan. Like, Brady would audible and run the football 45 times if that's what it took to win that week. Like, we don't remember that because, Brady is just so good at dissecting defenses.
People don't remember that because they don't know what they're watching. And when Jalen walks to the line of scrimmage and kills a play and then checks back into it because the defense showed a different look, he's taking the ball out of his own hands to give it back to the running back. He does that 20 times a game, but it's not a counting stat, so it doesn't matter. This team is well run. They care. I'm a little bit like, it's awesome how psychotic this whole team is about, one at a time, and we just want to get back to where we know we can be and blah, blah, blah. Jalen's not wearing the ring. But at a certain point, I'm like, dude, these guys, like, that can't be the most fun locker room after times like this. Like, yes, you win the game, and that's everybody's goal, but they really want to get it off their chest. Like, hey, man, we can't do that again.
Well, and I think that's the burden of success, right? I mean, Jalen Hurts compares himself or wants to be Michael Jordan. I don't think the Bulls locker rooms were very fun when Michael Jordan and the Bulls were running thing.
You think Jalen is going to punch Will Shipley in the face?
No, not Will Shipley, because Will Shipley's too nice. But, like,
I can't think of any smaller white guys. Like, who's our Kerr? Britton Covey's on the practice squad too.
Yeah, Britton Covey. Yeah, maybe that's the case. I don't know. Maybe that starts a dynasty. Who knows? But so our main takeaways basically are Zadarius Smith looks great coming off the street for the Eagles in the edge rushing role they needed. That's something we touched on. And then that the Eagles just find ways to win. Tyson, my last takeaway is this. The Tush Push is going to get banned this upcoming offseason.
Yeah.
And the league tried to go with the health thing, and everybody called BS because everybody, you're still allowing people in separate plays to push, and QB sneaks are still fine. They're going to go with the refereeing thing. And that's going to be the angle. Oh, it's too hard to officiate. And I got to say this. It's not the Eagles' job to be perfect on the Tush Push. Everybody's crying, they line up in the neutral zone, they're cheating, or they false started, they're cheating. Guys, if you can take an advantage and get an advantage in sports, you try. That's why the officials are there, to make sure that nobody is breaking the rules. Like in basketball, let's just say, let's just take it out of here. Hard fouls, hand checking, that is beneficial for the defense. Because you know why? It's really hard to get to the rim. It's really hard to score. It's really hard to be efficient when a grown man is moving you and grabbing your hip and hand checking you and preventing you from doing that. You know why the refs are there? so that if they're doing that, they call a foul. Similarly in football, if you are false starting, if you are lined up in the neutral zone, just like in every other play, the ref should be calling the flag. And if it happens, it doesn't mean the tush push is no longer effective and the Eagles are going to crumble and they can't play. No, they're going to adjust. Like, hey, guys, yeah, all right, let's just line up a little bit further back. Like,
we'll just
the
run a
whole
normal
conversation is ridiculous.
Dude, these guys make six figures. Like, it's like $200,000 to be an NFL referee. Throw the flag. Also, the video that everyone's freaking out about Landon Dickerson false starting, they scored the play before, and it was just a bad ref job. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that should have never happened. So that's the one we're talking about. Not the Chiefs also in the neutral zone or trying to punch the ball out of Cam Jurgens' hand or any of these other like things that defense gets up to. Because it doesn't matter when you get your backs blown out on that play over and over and over again. So everybody else is offsides too. Everybody else is going early too. Doesn't matter. Take away the push. Jalen Hurts is 90% on quarterback sneaks. Like, that's just what you're going to have to deal with.
So it's going to get banned, unfortunately, but that is just what it is, and it's going to go back to whatever. But if it does happen, then I don't want to see anything when it gets stood up at the line, or and then the lineman get to come and push the running back or whatever on a sweep play, or the wide receiver catches the ball and then people start cramming into them, because that's what you're saying, right? Because that's the unsafe part of things. It's just so ridiculous. All the referees have to do is just officiate it the right way, and then it's fine.
Well, they don't want to ban the push rule; they want to ban the play. And that's why it failed this offseason, because they couldn't figure that how to say that. And maybe they'll just get a little bit. Maybe they need Dino Blandino to come in there and just say, you know what, guys, I'm over it.
Yeah, oh god, I'm like, I don't want to call him anything like the P word or the B word, but I would do his face because that's what he was doing.
Dude, he's such a loser.
He came on and just basically cried. I'm just so over this, guys. Like, dude, shut up. Like are you
first
kidding
of all,
me?
Why are you wearing a suit? You don't need to be in a suit. Like, what are we? That has always bugged me. Second, you're in an air-conditioned room. Third, none of these guys have ever. Not the college guys will do it. In college broadcasts, the officiating expert that they bring in will disagree with the ref. Like, sometimes. In the NFL, dude, it is like almost unanimous. There's like one a week maybe where they're.
I don't know. Scarator gets pretty.
That's true, but he's not paying attention most of the time, anyways. Like, he's talking about a different game, dude. Last week they brought him in, dude. He's saying quarterbacks that don't even play for these teams. So look, all I'm saying is that the officiating expert in the booth provides nothing to us as fans, like literally nothing. Troy Aikman is trying to say that's an incomplete pass. Well, actually, I'm not sure. You can see a blade of grass. Shut up. Like, get him out of here. Just let him go home, dude. He doesn't want to be there anyways.
It's ridiculous. And the Fox guys are the worst, too, because Pereira and Blandino still have relationships with the officials, so they're not going to criticize them. No. It's fine.
Say
they missed the call.
Suck contest about how, like, oh, I've seen one of these before. This is how I would have called it. That's not what we're asking. Did they make the right call on the field?
And the not answering the question. Well, if you're looking at it, and by the time like they finish, magically the referee has his answer, so they don't be wrong. It's like, okay, we just wasted 10 seconds of our life. I'd rather listen to these guys. Like the commentators speculate. That's more interesting than bringing in some slap and Blandino. Like, what? Oh, that was so soft. Like, I'm just over the tush push, guys. Shut up. Shut up. Nobody cares what you think, Blandino, because you don't give us your opinion on anything anyway. That was the first time you had an opinion on TV, by the way. Are you kidding me,
dude? I mean, I'd be pissed off too. Dude, you got me dressed like a Civil War like soldier.
No, he does that himself. I know you're on TV, but he's wearing like a 3-piece. It's like, dude,
what are you doing, man?
Come on. All right. That's our Blandino stuff. Any other main takeaways he had coming at us before we get to a little key news to wrap things up?
Not really, dude. Now I'm just pissed at Dino.
Me too. All right, key news. Not the news is that there is no news, and it's mainly on Dallas Goedert. So we're recording this on Monday. Knee sprain, typically a couple weeks. Now, did they catch it early? Is it like he could have played? I would imagine if he could have played, he probably would have against the Chiefs, Tyson. But, normally it's just like a 2-weeker. If it's mild, you can go up to 4 to 6, but he's not placed on IR. So it's not a huge, clearly it's not enough that he has to miss at least 4 games. But you're hosting the Rams next week. I think you probably want him back if you can. So, our news is basically there is no news. We'll update you if there is anything on Goddard as we preview the Rams game.
Yeah, and I think that's a good place to end.
All right, let's get out of here. That's Philthy. I'm Brad. That's Tyson. We reacted to week 2 game for the Eagles. Again, like I said, we'll be back previewing the Rams game coming up for week 3. And we'll talk to you guys when we talk to you. Till then, peace.